KTRS. The White House has at least signaled they want to do something about this Russian hacking story. ABC News White House correspondent Lana Zak joins us. Good morning, Lana.
Hi, McGraw. So here at the White House, one of the big things that people are talking about is the message that Vice President Biden sent over the weekend to Russian President Vladimir Putin. In terms of not only him saying that the White House was going to be sending Putin a message in the method of a cyber attack, but also saying that it was going to be coming at a time when they weren't going to be aware of it, and when it would be positioned to have the greatest impact. It was all very cryptic, but it certainly was very clear in one thing. The Obama administration wants the Russian government to back out of any involvement in the U.S. electoral process and let that happen naturally without any additional cyber attacks.
We've always been very leery about military engagement with the Russians, but it seems like, Lana Zak, that we have no problem having some type of cyber war with the Russians.
Well, as much as the United States government has tried over the last several administrations to not engage in an actual war with Russia, a diplomatic war and diplomatic war of words certainly has happened frequently. And what we've seen in recent years is certainly a frosting over of the U.S.-Russian relationship, and to the point that it almost sounds now like we are back in Cold War times, but instead of talking about nuclear weapons or conventional weapons, we're talking about cyber weapons.
Yeah, and we can sort of embarrass each side. How much of this should be taken seriously? Because it sounds like a schoolyard fight. You better be careful, because next time, you're not going to know where and you're not going to know when, but I'm going to do something really bad to you.
Right, I'm going to do something really bad, and I have the capability. I have a weapon that you don't even know about.
Right.
It's sort of a combination of Dirty Harry meets Star Wars meets James Bond, spy versus spy sort of stuff right now. It's certainly something that should be taken seriously. This is the Vice President of the United States talking practically directly to Russia's president, and it all comes in the wake of the Department of Homeland Security late last week saying that those Russian hackers who had gotten into the Democratic National Committee computers were in fact supported by the Russian government and Russian leadership. So even though we knew very early on that they suspected that Russian hackers were behind this, what they weren't able to say until recently was the link that they have now determined they have sufficient evidence for, which is that this was actually supported by Russian government officials. Yeah,
Lana, while we still have you, lots of talk this morning about the fight in Mosul. Can you tell us anything from the White House point of view?
Certainly. This is a really big deal. 30,000 Iraqi and Kurdish forces at daybreak this morning are launching this lightning offensive to try and take back Mosul. This is one of the critical, perhaps the most critical area that is still under ISIS control in Iraq, and the hope is that this sudden engagement will be able to drive ISIS out of there. Remember, Mosul was lost to ISIS back in June of 2014. So this is a big push, coordinated and supported by the United States and the White House here to try and regain this in a big fight against ISIS. This is a big, big stand.
We should say that there are no American troops, but there's plenty of American military advisors?
American military advisors, American tactical support. The American boots are not on the ground technically, but the U.S. is certainly supporting these Iraqi and Kurdish forces.
Lana Zak, ABC News White House correspondent. Lana, thanks for checking in this morning.
Great to talk to you.
7:55, Big 550, KTRS.